I promised at the beginning of the episode, I shared that my Mac was running, it was running hot and burning battery. My Air was burning battery because it was doing all of that summarization of notes or notifications and all of that stuff. And I promised that I would share how I found that out. What I did on my Air was I started a Claude Code session, and I pointed Claude Code at my library logs folder, not my home library logs folder, but my library logs folder. And I told it, hey, Claude, take a look at these logs and let me know if you see anything. And if you don't, use this as the baseline for future troubleshooting that we might do. And so I let it run. And I actually did this while we were at MacStock. I just was like, it seems like my battery's not quite as good as it is. Like, but maybe it's just me. Like the Mac's, it's not the most brand new computer. It's an M2 Air. So, and it said, well, your battery's at 88% capacity. So that's part of it, but certainly not below Apple's, 80%. It's time to replace it standard. But then it went through and it said, Apple Intelligence ran its summarization model for 9.5 hours in one day recently, summarizing notifications and message threads on device. If you don't actively use or care about notification summaries, turning them off, where I told you in the quick tip, is free battery space. And I've used this troubleshooting method on other Macs. I mentioned that this Mac in the studio here was rebooting routinely. That was the first Mac that I pointed to library logs, and it found that the monitor behind me, the way that it was hooked up here in the studio, was causing the machine. It wouldn't go offline when the machine was trying to sleep, and it would cause this cycling that caused a thermal overload, at which point my Mac Studio said, I'm going to reboot. I'm going to solve this problem the way I know how. And it did. My Mac in the office, I've mentioned since I installed Tahoe on it, has been just crunching nonstop. I had narrowed it down that it was Spotlight, right? But I was presuming, perhaps correctly initially, but certainly not long-term, that it was Photos. It wasn't. Claude found when it parsed through my library logs folder that it was Mail. I have a 175 gig mail archive, and it was still trying to get through it for the first time and failing and resetting and starting again and going and failing and resetting and starting again. And I don't even use Mail as my primary thing. So I excluded Mail from the Spotlight index, and all seems to have calmed down, and things are much smoother and faster down there now, even though I'm replacing that machine anyway. But yeah, I want to make it clear that I use Claude Code for this. And the reason I used Claude Code is because Claude Code, it could have been CoWork. It wouldn't have really mattered, but not Claude Chat, because Claude Code and CoWork lets you point it at a folder and do work inside the folder. With Claude Code, the traditional work would be, of course, you're pointing it at a code repository and you are having it assist you in writing code. With Claude CoWork, you're pointing it at a folder of things and having it, say, build spreadsheets for you or do other things. But they're both basically the same in that general sense, and you could point either at this library logs folder, but it's specifically not chat. It's Claude Code or Claude CoWork would be the way. And it's a fascinating way to troubleshoot because it will find patterns in your logs that I certainly would never have the patience or attention to find. The nice part about the AI is that it doesn't suffer from fatigue. It just burns your tokens.